Hi guys, Dr. GE here. So today I want to talk about Africa and Africans vis-a-vis the US-Israeli war on Iran today, and how many Africans do not understand the impact and the connection between this war or geopolitics and their local situations. So stay tuned. I'm going to break it down for you so that you can fully understand the implications of geopolitical events on your local lives. So let's get into it. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and comment and engage with this video so that the algorithm can show it to as many people as possible. Many Africans see the US-Israeli illegal war of aggression on Iran through the prism of religion. Many Africans erroneously think that Israel is the Israel in the Bible, or that Israel is a Christian nation. Far from it. In fact, in Israel, Christians are persecuted. Christians are spat on in Israel. Recently, Benjamin Netanyahu, for the first time in a very long time, prevented the Christians from using the temple of Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem to celebrate their Palm Sunday or to celebrate Easter. They were blocked. So Israel is not a Christian nation. So your support for Israel based on religion is misplaced. You don't understand what you're doing. Now, on the other hand, many Muslims are supporting Iran because of the fact that Iran officially is an Islamic country. They see it from the prism of Islam, and that's why they're supporting. So there's this contention between those who support Israel because they think Israel is a Christian country versus those who support Iran because they think that Iran is an Islamic country. Both positions are highly misplaced. Now, let me tell you why you should support Iran. And then I'll tell you the implication of the illegal war of the US and Israel on Iran, how it impacts your life, and why you should not be supporting Israel and the United States in this illegal war of aggression. First of all, the US-Israeli war on Iran is illegal, both under the United States law and international law. They did not get any approval from Congress. Neither was it sanctioned by the UN Security Council. Donald Trump was deceived. I'm not absolving him here, but everybody knows that Netanyahu has been seeking this war for over 40 years or 30 years. There's a video here that documents that
terrorism would collapse.
If you take out Saddam, I guarantee you that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region. Obviously, we like to see a regime change, at least I would, in Iran, just as I would like to see in Iraq. The question now is a practical question. What is the best place to proceed? It's not a question of whether Iraq's regime should be taken out, but when should it be taken out? Libya is, while no one is watching, under the cloak, is trying very rapidly to build an atomic bomb capability.
This is a time for war.
And Donald Trump, being the goon that he is, thinking that he's smarter than all the other US presidents who have refused and rebuffed and sent Netanyahu away from plunging them into a disastrous war. He thinks he's smarter than everybody, but alas, he is so foolish, so incompetent to have allowed himself to be dragged into a war by Netanyahu. It's illegal. It's an illegal war. So if you're supporting US-Israeli war on Iran, then you're supporting illegality. Number two is that you do not understand the implication of the war. What it means is that the United States can mark your country as a country of interest and just go there and start bombing because of the resources of your country, which many African countries have resources. It means if you're supporting this illegal war, you are legitimizing this barbaric act of aggression against a nation, and so you are inadvertently supporting an illegal war of aggression on your country. What stops the US and Israel from attacking your country just to steal the oil of your country? Nothing. So if you're supporting this, it means that you're supporting them to do the same to your country. Make no mistake, the war on Iran has been about the resources of Iran. Trump has been saying it. It has nothing to do with nuclear weapons. It has nothing to do with anything. It's about the resources, the oil riches and gas of Iran. And you don't need anybody to prove other than what Donald Trump and his minions have been saying, that they are going to be very, very rich if they lay their hands on the oil of Iran. And Donald Trump has been saying this for so many years. Why don't you go and take over Cargo Line?
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea?
How would you do that? Would you send in the Marines? Would you take a chance in a war?
Let them have Iran. You take their oil. That's what
How?
How?
I mean, do we want a war? What do you mean
go
we
in,
take their oil?
You go in. You're
How
gonna have
do
a
we
war,
go
Barbara.
in?
You're going to have a war by being weak.
Okay, how do we go in? What do we do?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You're going to have a war, and it's going to start in the Middle East.
What if the Soviet Union said, you do this to Iran, we're going to come in?
I don't believe they'd do it. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations, and I mean grab it and keep it, and get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran.
The Cargo Line is the port or the island that houses the oil export infrastructure of Iran. He has been saying it for so many years. Go in and take over this place. That has been what these criminals have been eyeing. Now, make no mistake, the U.S. goal is different from the Israeli goal. The U.S. goal is to go and steal resources just as they did in Venezuela. The Israeli goal is for balkanization, destruction of the Iran threat. To them, Iran poses an existential threat. And why? Because Israel wants to expand. Israel has an expansion project. They want to take over parts of the Middle East, promised to them 3,000 years ago in quotes. That's the mindset of these people, and they don't mind doing anything, committing genocide, committing war crimes, meting out destruction on any that stands in their way of achieving this barbaric, satanic, and demonic project of theirs. Now, let's talk about the implication of the war. Number one, energy prices or gas prices will increase. African countries are already suffering the burden. Take Nigeria, for example. The cost of energy or fuel is astronomical relative to the earnings and the income of the people. It's astronomical. So added energy prices is going to cripple a lot of things. Nigeria does not have stable electricity power. A lot of people rely on generators, and that's how it is in many African countries. Rely on generators to produce power for themselves and for their businesses. So the implication is that once there's higher gas prices, the cost of goods will go up, inflation will go up, and then of course shipping. When you're not able to ship in fertilizers, the AU is already warning about food insecurity, because if you cannot get fertilizers in, you cannot produce food, and so we are going to end up with food insecurity. So the implication of this war for Africa is dire. The earlier we begin to realize this as Africans, the better for us. Africans and African leaders must begin to think strategically, and I've been saying it in all my videos. Our leaders do not have an iota of strategic thinking. They live their lives, steal the monies, and invest it in the West, in the Western Hemisphere. That's the problem we have. They drink and live and survive by corruption. Instead of thinking strategic, instead of leaving a legacy, instead of building the countries. Look at Iran, for example. What lesson do we derive from Iran? This is a middle power confronting two nuclear armed powers. This is a country that has been under sanction for decades. Yet see the feats they've been able to achieve with their missile technology and drone technology. Whereas African countries that have not been under any form of sanction are still scraping by. Even the ones that have resources, because most African countries have resources. What their leaders are concerned about is stealing, primitive stealing of resources, buying properties in the West. No investment in education, no investment in the social outcomes. Look at a lot of those Asian countries that started with countries like Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, many other African countries. Those countries are now light years ahead of African countries. This is terrible. Africans, instead of focusing on useless ethnicity and religious sentiments, begin to focus on development, education, on things that matter. That's how we can come out from this quagmire of being impacted by every geopolitical issue that is happening. Anyways, enough of my rant here. Smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, and let's get this conversation going. Post this video to all Africans that you know about. and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Check our other videos for more.